Bandidos. What up? Your boy Tux here, and we're back with the Division 2. Today we're diving into the top 3 solo builds for Year 7 Season 1 that are dominating the streets. And with these, I think we got something for everybody. Let's do this.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
First off, we're showcasing the Backfire build. I already created one with the Umber Gear set, which is an awesome build too. But for this series, I decided to go with Striker. So the Backfire Exotic SMG has payment in kind. Basically, this gives you up to 200% crit damage. In exchange, it's going to cause bleed on reload. Now, we've countered that with this build. So for the most part, we are running armor with hazard protection and crit damage. Strikers gives you weapon handling and rate of fire, which is going to make the Backfire feel a little bit better because it's kind of slow. We're getting Striker's Gamble, which is amplified damage, and that's driving a lot of power to the build. So all the pieces basically look the same. Now with the seasonal modifiers, you're getting greatly rewarded for running blue cores, armor. So we have lots of armor on this and lots of bonus armor. The knees have hazard protection, so does the holster. The chest is up to you. I decided to go ahead and run Bellstone. I do suggest putting an armor core on whatever you're going to put here. Cheska is a good option. Grupo is a great option. You can even go with Sokolov. I decided to go with Obliterate here. You could also do Intimidate if you wanted to, but since we're rolling into so much crits, this one works great. For the backpack, it's the Memento, mostly for the bonus armor, but you're also getting 30% weapon damage, and then our main source of heals, which is going to be coming from the 3% armor regen. We're going to get 10% bonus armor per blue core. We have 6, so that's 60% bonus armor on 1.9 million. So basically a single trophy is going to give you about 1.2 million in bonus armor, which is huge. I'm running Survivalist mostly for the protection from elites, but you can also run Firewall and get more damage by running a Striker Shield, but I decided to go with the Decoy. But the Striker Shield is definitely a good idea. I decided to go hands-free, but this will give you 13% more damage per enemy standing in front of you. I'm running a Revive Hive, but I'm not really using that. But I do use the Decoy a lot. Okay, let's look at our base stats. So these are going to change. So we got 53% crit chance, 96% crit damage. The Backfire is going to add another 200%. So you're basically at 300% crit damage. Your crit chance is going to go up to about 63% crit chance. 25% of that is going to be thrown into your crit damage pile. So this gets pretty strong. Now, if we look at the defensive side, we are 10% protection from elites. We're going to get more. And then we're at 87% hazard protection. We're going to get another 7.5% when we earn our final stamina tier. So we're going to be going into the fight with a tier 4. Once we get to tier 5, that'll push to about 95%. So for the modifiers, the idea with this build is to not use the active modifier so that you are playing into your passive modifiers. But in case you have to, put on Tech Link so that way if your Reviver Hive goes down and you need to get it back, then you can use this to do that. So we're playing into stamina here. So gain bonus armor for every 300,000 damage you take, and that's going to come in at 3.5%. That's why I'm able to run and gun without a shield. The bonus armor we pick up from the Memento trophies earns us more bonus armor when it takes damage. Now we're also going to get 5% protection from elites per blue core when we get to tier 5. So that's another 30% on top of the 10% we already have. So a total of 40% protection from elites, which is plenty. Hazard protection, that's the final 7.5%. We already talked about that, but make sure you run this and then load it up. We're going to get more crit damage. So you can change this up any way you want and it's still going to be pretty strong. I got to say, it just makes the game extremely casual. This is a great build for taking on the entire map. Whether you're fighting hyenas, the Tusk, True Sons, Outcasts, it doesn't matter. Hazard protection is a big W. Now for my favorite and probably the best XP farm build in the game right now. This is primarily a pistol build. It's worked around the new brand set called Eminence Armaments that came out this season. So it's giving us 5% weapon damage, increased threat, which just ignore. And then we have 60% pistol damage. That's a lot of damage. And so what we've done is combined it with DNH. And just because why not? I've maxed out hazard protection to make this a very good XP farm. Your real defense is your time to kill here. It's super fast because of Determined. You're one-shotting everything. Bosses will take 1 to 3 shots depending on the boss. Everybody else, 1 shot. Primarily, I'm using the Harvest. I have shown in the past that you can just use the Police Magnum instead of the Harvest, and even though it's got a little bit less damage, it's still perfectly fine and does the job. Same thing with the Expertise. You don't need 30% expertise on your build for this to work. But for these type of builds, I do suggest pumping in a lot of expertise into it once you're able to, because, you know, these XP farm builds are worth investing the resources into so that you can be as fast as possible. In order to do that, you want high damage and high survivability, which ties into your damage. Otherwise, I'm running headshot damage, reload speed. We got damage to armor on this, and then determined. Very important. Determined gives you speed. For the backup weapon, I'm using the Nemesis. Sometimes I kick off the fight with this. And then I have the 1886, kind of a cowboy setup here. So the D&H mask, very easy to come by. It's called a Punch Drunk. And that's giving us 20% pistol damage with the perfect 20% headshot stat. I have hazard protection. Hazard protection is completely optional. So don't feel like you have to have this maxed out. But we are at 100% hazard protection on this build. And then I'm running protection from elites on all of my mods. 12% protection from elite mods are just fine. So for the chest piece, we got eminent armaments, 1 of 3. And I got hazard, protection from elites, headshot damage, and then headhunter. So this is the other very critical part, being able to chain kill elites. For the gloves, I have headshot damage and hazard protection. The knees look exactly the same. The holster is a flexible slot. I decided to go with y'all for that 10% more hazard protection. And then I have armor core here, hazard protection, and headshot damage. Having at least one armor core is nice for 2 reasons. One, this is 20% bonus armor on kill. And I'm running gunner for another 10% armor on kill. I'm also running gunner for ammo because we're running directives. I don't have to worry about getting ammo for my sniper and my rifle. It's just passively building up. The other thing about the armor is that it's going to help your armor regen, which is coming off of the memento. So the memento is giving us 3 cores, protection from elites, and we grab a trophy. We're going to get 5% weapon damage per red core. That's 25% more weapon damage every time we grab one of those trophies, plus 30% weapon damage when we have 30 trophies collected, 20% bonus armor on kill. We grab the trophy and those stack, and then we have skill efficiency, which we're not really using too much, but it's nice to have. The third thing that the armor cores are playing into, the modifiers. So the idea with this build, again, is to not use your active modifier unless you absolutely have to, like in an emergency and you're running the hive. Otherwise, we're playing into just about everything here, but mostly the stamina. We're not using crits and we don't need our skills because of directives. But here's where the blue cores kick in. So hazard protection is increased by 7.5% for each stamina tier. And with this build, we're gonna work up to full stamina tiers, so all 5. And having some armor on your build helps that happen sooner. But once you're there, unless you travel to a safe house or you flatline, just avoid a safe house. And then here, gain 5% protection from elites per blue core while at tier 5 in stamina. So that'll give us another 10% protection from elites. It's, again, nice to have. And the best kind of defense. So while at tier 3 in both firearms and stamina, gain 2.5% headshot damage for every 100,000 total armor you have. So that pushes us over 200% headshot damage on our pistol. You might be wondering, well, if we're rewarded for having armor, why am I not running more armor? This build is hitting, you know, somewhere between 14 and 21 million, depending on the stacks that we have going on. You only need 10 million to take out an elite. Sometimes these elites come out with that little blue circle, that stamina circle. And if you crit on that guy that has the blue circle, then it's going to take a big chunk of your damage away, and you may not one-shot kill him. So what I've done is built in some overkill so that that situation doesn't happen very often. It still might happen, but it'll be quite rare. But if that doesn't bother you, then go ahead and put on more blue cores. You can be a tank one-shot killer here. But you're killing so fast, you're pretty good to go here. And you're protected from hazards, which is your biggest threat. Usually riot foam. When you have a couple of riot foam guys that spray you and hold you down and then somebody blasts you all to hell, that's not going to happen because you are 100% protected from all of the hazards. Now, when it comes to XP farming with a build like this, I do recommend either fighting the Outcasts, the Black Tusk, or the True Sons. But the hyenas are a pain in the butt to XP farm because they keep sending those crazy rushers at you. This build dominates. It's one to have on your roster, and it will work beyond this season as well. But next season, we won't know what our modifiers are going to be, so expect maybe something different on the hazard protection and the protection from elite buffs. But as far as damage goes, none of our modifiers are really kicking in here. I saved the best for last. This is a build that goes brrr, and this video wouldn't be complete if we didn't include a perfect Streamline setup. Streamline is the new talent that we got this season. It just makes sense. We got to have this. The two named weapons are the Purist and the Lud. Both of these come with Perfect Streamline, which increases weapon damage by 47% as long as you're not using skills. So just no skills. And this build is designed to function without skills. So just a good old-fashioned looter shooter build. Okay, quick on the mods. We're just trying to maximize crit chance and our crit damage here. There's a little bit that goes into this. If you follow this template, your numbers should be just fine. We have 10% crit damage, the crit chance mod here, and then a crit damage mod there, and then the extended mag. And damage targets out of cover. I haven't loaded expertise, but I should. We have the Lud, which is the assault rifle version. This has crit chance, and then I like running stability. If you want to run more crit chance or damage, you can do that. Damage to targets out of cover. Now this is built on 4 pieces of Umbra. So I've chose Umbra because of the 40% rate of fire increase, which is fantastic. It also gives you 120% more crit hit damage. Both of those stats require you to run the chest piece. Most people run the chest piece with Umbra, so you know, it just sort of makes a lot of sense. Anyways, you're gonna get crit chance and a reload speed, and then you have the talent from the shadows into the light, which is really confusing on the surface. This is how it works. I'm just gonna break it down. You have offensive stacks and defensive stacks. You gain your offensive stacks when you're in cover, which are your crit damage and your RPM. You use your defensive stacks when you're in cover. You use your offensive stacks when you're out of cover, and you gain your defensive stacks when you're out of cover. That's just how it works. Otherwise, I'm running armor, crit damage, protection from elites on the chest. This is a little bit of a balanced build. I didn't go all in on the armor, but I just wanted to balance it out so that we get lots of buffs from this build here and there. So the mask has weapon damage, crit damage, and more protection from elites. The gloves, armor with crit damage. The knees, armor with crit damage. The holster, I decided to go improvised. So improvised you can create at the crafting bench. That's so you could put more protection from elites on the build. You'd probably be better off by going with the chill out mask and putting 2 protection from elites on up here, and then running Umbra holster. I just didn't have my Umbra holster on me, and I just got super lazy, didn't want to go to my other character, but it's fine. It's fine. We got 62% protection from elites out of a possible 80%. Now the modifiers can give you more. We're actually using our active modifier on this one, so we're not going to see tier 5 too often. In other words, it's going to come and go, and that's how you get more protection from elites. So I'm running survivalist, which is giving us another 10% protection from elites, and the skills are in cases of emergencies. So if you're really getting blasted on, go ahead and pop your shield so you survive. So I use the assault rifle at range, the SMG at short range, of course. The SMG is mostly going to be in your hand throughout the gameplay. The armor, why am I running armor? Well, Umbra is going to heal you when you're in cover, but we're spending a lot of time out of cover. So we need to balance that. So the memento is giving us 3% armor regen when we have all 30 of our trophies. So that's going to heal us when we're out of cover underneath the bonus armor, which is really important. So 10% bonus armor per blue core. So that's 40% bonus armor right there, which is about 600,000 in bonus armor per trophy. And that's going to stack. So that's your shielding, and then your protection from elites is going to protect your bonus armor and then protect your white armor. In that time, you're going to get another kill, get another trophy, and rinse and repeat, all while armor regen's healing you underneath. So the stats on this thing gets crazy. We're going to use the active modifier. So our crit chance is going to go from 60 to 70 and then to 100%. You're going to hit 100% crit chance at least once per minute for 25 seconds. The crit damage on the build is going to jump another 120%. So you're going to be at 244%, and then you're going to get 20% of your crit chance thrown on top of your crit damage, which is going to fluctuate. So you'll be approaching 300,000 in crits. So super crazy, especially with that nice 40% RPM. I love it. So we're running Umbra so that we have a source of heals that we can fall back onto in case we get in trouble, which is great for an ongoing source of heals, including the bonus armor, because we don't have skills. So it's a really nice setup, and it's giving us nice bits of bursts. The other thing is the red core. So we're going to get 5% weapon damage per red core, then 30% weapon damage when we have all our trophies, which is great. Now, that's why I wanted the 3 red cores on the build so that we get another spurt of 15% weapon damage, and then that can stack too. Let's look at the modifiers. Because of the firearms tier, we can get 10% more crit chance when we use our active modifier, That's going to push us to 100% crit chance because it's going to times that by 4. All of our passive modifiers are also going to double once every minute for 25 seconds. So we're going to get 5% protection from elites per blue core while at tier 5 stamina, which isn't going to happen very often. Then we're going to have 25% of our crit chance going into our crit damage. Now that is going to double. So we'll get 50% crit chance going into our crit damage. And then we get headshot damage based on our armor. That will also double. Really strong, but we're using the active modifier so that we can get that 100% crit chance. And that alone on a crit build is crazy. The other reason why I'm running armor is because for Assault Link, you're going to get 5% weapon damage for every non-red core equipped. I wanted to make use of that. We have 4 blue cores plus a skill tier. I'm not sure if it's actually reading that skill tier. I think we did test that out at some point early in the season. I just can't remember what the results were. So for now, let's just say you're going to get 20%, possibly 25% more weapon damage for 25 seconds once every minute. That plus the trophies you're picking up, really nice damage. Super fun. You can play it relaxed. You can play it aggressive. It feels really good with these new named weapons we got. So let me know which of these is your favorite build. And also let me know if you feel like there's a build out there that should be highlighted as a top solo build this season. Look out for more top build videos coming your way. Tux out.
Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Tuxedo Bandido, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the good stuff I have coming for you. And if you like content like this, be sure to check out the video I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you would like me to cover, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make things possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be the same without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Wait, did we just become best friends?